Hey guys! Hey! Welcome back. Welcome back to another review. We're gonna be reviewing another Star Wars film. Hooray! Another Star Wars film. But you guys know the drill. If you guys like my videos and all that, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. That way you guys are notified for future videos. And if you guys are not interested in review stuff, I do other things too on my channel. I do other things. I do talk about news-related stuff. I talk about my thoughts on that. I don't actually keep people up to date on news as much anymore because there's so much to talk about these days, but I do talk about my thoughts on it. And I also do gaming stuff too. So yeah, please, if you guys are not interested in my reviews, check out that stuff. And I will not probably be having a gaming video probably the rest of this week. I was hoping I would, because I wanted to do 2 Luigi's Mansion 3 videos for you guys this week, because I didn't do one last week. But unfortunately, I cannot, I don't really have any room in my room to sit and, play the game right now. Because if I sit on the bed with my phone stand, it might tip the phone stand over, so I won't be able to really do anything in my room right now because I have a toy box I'm trying to put together. Because I have all these toys, I know it sounds like a grown person that has toys still, but I have toys still. It's kind of fun to use your imagination, it is. You shouldn't feel too embarrassed to be a kid, It's kind of nice. Even though I'm not a kid anymore, I still like to, play with toys and all that. So, yeah. But yeah, anywho, guys, let's go ahead and get into the review, though. Yeah, because I will not be having a Luigi's Mansion video probably tomorrow, so, yeah. Anywho, I was talking about Attack of the Clones. So this Star Wars film, this one, out of all of them, of George Lucas's work, this is probably the most hated one of all of them. People just don't like this film as much. People think they have a lot of problems with this film and all that, and it's just, it's the worst of George Lucas films. I heard some people hate the Phantom Menace more, but most people hate the Attack of the Clones the most. Now, is this film as bad as people say? Does it deserve to be hated as bad as people say it should be? Well, that's what I'm here to talk about. So, I'm going to give you guys my personal opinion on this film. Now, I watched this film, actually, last night. I did. I watched it last night. I didn't watch it today. But I do remember a lot about the film. It's actually a film I've seen before. I've seen it, and I've seen The Phantom Menace quite a few times in school. So I was binge watching all the Star Wars movies in school. That's before, we had the sequel trilogy and all that. But I was binge watching that stuff at school, and I was wanting to get to all the films, even the original trilogy, but I never did. See, my teacher did this thing where we could earn fake money and stuff and be able to buy stuff. I actually had it. One of my schools actually did that when I was in elementary school, but I wanted my teacher to see if he could bring that back, and he did. And if you spend enough money, like a fake money, you get to have a movie or something. I think it used to be 25 or 50 during 7th grade. Then he boosted up to 100, I guess. It costs a lot of money afterwards. And apparently on your birthday, you get to pick your own movie, so you don't have to pay anything on your birthday, which is pretty cool. But I chose the Star Wars films. Now, I never got to Revenge of the Sith or the other, movies. To be honest, I haven't seen the original trilogy in years. Years. But I can't tell you guys how long it's been since I last saw the original trilogy. It's been years, it has. I'm trying to think how long it's been. Let's see here. I gotta say, it's probably been, before Disney bought Star Wars. Yeah, that's how long ago it's been since I last, that's how long it's been since I last watched those movies. I kind of grew out of the Star Wars movies, and I'm kind of going back to them. And I think so far, like the first one was pretty good, not great, but it was pretty good. That's why I'm gonna check the other films and see if my opinion has grown a bit. Because in the past, all I cared about was the Star Wars merchandise. Before Disney got their hands on it and freaking ruined it, and kept upping the price on the stuff. But I still liked buying Star Wars stuff. I actually have quite a bit of Star Wars merchandise, so yeah. But I never really got into the films too much. So we're gonna see if the other movies are good too, just like this one. But yeah. But anywho, enough about getting off topic here. I need to get back on topic about this movie. We're talking about Attack of the Clones, not the original trilogy. Attack of the Clones, though, it's a pretty mixed bag. Like, the sequel trilogy in general is a mixed bag. Like, I hear a lot of people like it, a lot of people hate it. Apparently, I've seen votes, people on YouTube or... I wish I had the ability to do that, but I guess I can't do that yet because I don't have enough subs. But I like to ask people questions too. But apparently, you can pick a question on stuff, and one person had a question about which is better, the prequel or the original trilogy, and more people said the prequel trilogy over the original. I think it's 60-something% said that. So I guess more people like the prequel trilogy, which is interesting. I mean, because it was 30-something thousand people that voted to, which is a lot. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. The sequel trilogy wasn't even on there, but that's because it's pretty obvious that's not really, considered the best. But, yeah. But yeah, people basically are pretty turned on this, and this film, I was looking at the Rotten Tomatoes and all that. Apparently, this film is kind of in the middle. So, a lot of people like this film, a lot of people hate it. It's pretty interesting. Now I'm gonna tell you guys my thoughts on it. So, how is this film? How is Attack of the Clones? Is it as good as The Phantom Menace, or is it worse? Well, I gotta say though, this film's it's good, but I don't know if I would say it's great. See, I'm kind of, I think, more towards the middle of this film. I'm more towards the middle. I think this film it's got some problems with it, but it's still, it's still telling a good story and all that, and focusing on action too at the same time. But the thing is though, is this film has got pretty bad at times it's got pretty bad scenes. They're not awful, but they're kind of they just feel kind of rushed or something, and they just don't feel as good. Like at the very beginning of the movie, basically Padme's remember the gal from the first film who was basically a person to hide Padme as the queen. I can't remember what they called, but she was not the real queen. She basically was covering up for the real queen because she was trying to keep the real queen safe. But what happened is she ended up dying because I guess the bad guys mistaked her as they mistaked her as the person, the person who was Padme, but no, it was a completely different person. Sorry if I was kind of stumped there, I don't know why I was doing that, but yeah, so you could tell, even when she was dying, it just sounded kind of cringe, the way she was dying. It sounded kind of cringed and all that, you weren't supposed to take it seriously and all that, but there's a death later in the movie that's actually sad, and I actually felt something. I didn't really feel. I mean, I was sad, but I wasn't like super sad, you know, and all that. But that's one problem, you know, and the thing is, it's kind of like that. It's kind of just starts the movie like that. It just starts out of nowhere, where Padme's going on a ship somewhere, and she's someone's trying to assassinate her. The thing is, they never really bring that up again. They kind of just forget about it. I'm not joking. They do. That's what's so stupid. They freaking just bring it up. They bring it up, and that's kind of how that's how they start the plot. And then they just Obi-Wan goes to find the bounty hunter and all that, and they kind of just forget about it. They do. They do bring up Count Dooku and all that. For some reason, I don't know where they got Count Dooku from. Like, Padme just randomly mentions Count Dooku. She thinks Count Dooku was responsible for that. But I'm like, that just came out of nowhere. Like, it didn't even feel like they set that up right. They just came out of nowhere. That's the problem. There's a lot of problems like that with this film. They have, like, dialogue and all that. And, because with The Phantom Menace, they were telling a great story. Jar Jar was annoying in that movie, but they were telling a nice story. They were telling a nice story and all that, but this one, some of the writing just feels kind of sloppy. It's not all sloppy. Some of it's actually pretty decent, but, like, it's trying to set up the plot, you know, and all that. And the thing is, I heard some people are not happy that, you know, that the council just assumes that, because they're being smartasses, they just assume that, you know, Count Dooku is a good guy because they believe it, because I guess of his personality or something, which I can understand why people might be mad about that, but I think it works in this case because it's kind of showing that the council, it's kind of showing why Anakin, you know, kind of turned on the dark side, because the council, everyone there's like assholes, you know. Yeah, they're like all assholes, you know, so I kind of like that, you know. I kind of like how they kind of make him unlikable for a reason. They don't make him too unlikable where you want to beat them up, but they make him unlikable where, you know, because, you know, some people like, you know, watch movies, including myself, and see some frustrating characters where I just want to freaking punch them, like Lightyear. There's some characters on there I just want to freaking punch. Not Mace Windu or the other council. I don't want to punch them. They don't make me that frustrating. But I get they're trying to set up the, George Lucas was trying to set up the plot, you know, trying to make the council unlikable to show Anakin, you know, turning to dark side, because Anakin disagrees with the council, which I like. Because in the first movie, they barely show the council. They have hardly anything to do with the movie. Here, they focus more on the council, and I like that. Because the council just shows up out of nowhere in the first movie. He just shows up out of nowhere, which is kind of silly, but yeah, that's the thing, though. Yeah, a lot of people complain about that. People complain about the pasting, and you know that, but I'm not gonna probably cover every single thing, because what I'm gonna do after I review Revenge of the Sith, I am going to go back and I'm gonna go back and give it the whole prequel trilogy a score. And tell you guys my thoughts on that. So yeah. But that is one problem I heard. Well, one person, because I was gonna watch multiple videos, but I'm like, it's kind of, they're kind of long videos on YouTube, kind of like mine's probably gonna be, and I'm just like, I don't really want to keep watching multiple videos, but I did see some people complaining about, like, the fact that the bounty hunter trying to kill Padme in her sleep is using worms, and I'm like, that's kind of stupid. I mean, like, this guy's got like over 1 million views, which I shouldn't be, you know, I'm not trying to be jealous here or anything. That's kind of stupid to complain about. I'm not saying that because I'm jealous of him having more views. I mean, I kind of am, because I like to have 1 million views, but I'm not really jealous of him. I'm just like, I'm serious. It's kind of stupid. He just complains about that, like, how Padme's getting killed by worms and not, like, sleeping gas or something, and I'm like, I kind of don't really care for that, like, him saying that, because I'm like, it's kind of a neat way they're trying to kill Padme. You know, instead of just doing typical gas or something, they actually try to kill her with using worms. And I think they probably did that anyway because you know, if they used gas, then that probably would have set off some stuff. Because there was a droid, and their R2-D2 probably would have you know, saw that. So because the worms when they were climbing on Padme, they stopped when R2-D2 like woke up, and then he went back to sleep, and they kept going. So I think they were trying to make it, you know, sneaky. You know, that's what bounty hunters do. They make it sneaky. Now I'm not sure why Jango Fett, you know, needed to hire her to do it. I don't really get that. I'll agree with what that guy said on that. I don't really get why you know, they need to do that, but I guess it's an excuse to go to this other planet. And for some reason, when he kills her, she turns into this alien. I'm not sure. I mean, I was thinking maybe it's a Dark that did this, but I don't think it was a Dark, because she looked more like an alien. So I'm like, why was she disguised as a human? I really don't get that. I mean, it could have been maybe it was the Dark that did it, that turned her face like that, but no, she looked more like an alien. I looked close at it. So I'm not really sure why that is, like why she went from looking like a human to an alien. But yeah, it's kind of just, you know, it's kind of just, you know, strange that how that is. And then, you know, they basically go on a quest. You know, I gotta admit though, I do like the fight scene in the air. I do like that where they're going after the bounty hunter, which I forgot her name, but I do like how they actually go after her. And I like the chase scene. It's pretty cool, especially the bar scene. I like the bar scene. And then when they freaking cut her arm off, that's a little violent, but like, I mean, she actually was trying to shoot she's trying to shoot Obi-Wan, you know, but that's still a little violent. But yeah, they literally freaking cut her arm off. They cut her freaking arm off before Jango Fett actually finished her off. And that one scene I told you guys about. I'm kind of going a bit out of order here, but there's a lot to cover, and I'm trying to make sure to cover. Not going to excruciating details, but, you know, details where I can explain, you know, my thoughts on the movie and why I like some scenes I like, some scenes I hate, you know. But yeah, apparently, yeah, that's kind of something, I guess. But yeah, also, apparently, when they actually defeat her and they try to, you know, figure out the dart thing, apparently, Obi-Wan has a friend. Yeah, Obi-Wan has a friend that works at a shop. I kind of wish we could see him again. But no, he's just in that one scene and he's gone. I'm not sure why they couldn't bring him back, but yeah, basically though, there's this one scene where he's eating, he's drinking something with his friend and all that, and it ends up setting up the plot more, where Obi-Wan goes to, you know, this one watery planet, which, by the way, looks really cool. It looks really cool, like, it really does. It's dark and stormy, but it looks very cool. The water's a bit outdated, though. The water looks CGI looking, but it's not ugly or anything. It still looks pretty good. But you know, but that's kind of interesting how he just suddenly has a friend and it's at a cafe or something, but yeah, it's pretty cool. But yeah, meanwhile, I guess what happens is Anakin starts flirt with Padme. And I gotta say, it's kind of creepy the way he does it. It's creepy, like the way he flirts with her. I'm like, did the writers even know what someone being in love is like? Because the way Anakin flirts with Padme is just creepy and disturbing. I mean, I get that. I guess technically George Lucas is the one who wrote the stories, but before Disney took over, because Disney, you know, wrote their own stories, but you know. But I'm just like, that's kind of creepy. It's creepy the way he just. I mean, especially because Princess Leia and Han Solo flirted with each other, and although I remember it being kind of cringe, I don't remember it being, like, this kind of, creepy. And yeah, Anakin's a bit whiny in this movie, too. He's a bit whiny. Now, I kind of think he gets better as the movie goes on, but yeah, he starts out kind of whiny, where he's complaining about this and that, and him and Obi-Wan are going back and forth. I actually forgot to bring this scene up with the whole worm thing, again, I know I've talked about it already, but while the worm was, slowly attacking Padme and trying to kill her, like, poisoning her, basically, Anakin and Obi-Wan are, like, bickering at each other, and, and then basically what happens is, like, they cut back and forth, like, 3 or 4 times before they actually go to the plot. See, yeah, this movie does drag a bit, but yeah, but basically, though, yeah, so, yeah, basically, Anakin, like I said, Anakin and Obi-Wan definitely fight, too, in this movie a bit. Now, I get they're trying to make, set up Anakin being, the Sith Lord and all that, but I feel like they make him a little too whiny at the beginning of the movie and all. They make him a little too whiny and all that, so. But, it's just kind of, the thing there. It's just, that's kind of how I guess they wrote him, I guess. I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, at this point, there's a lot to talk about and all that, and I'm trying to make sure I get everything covered here and all that. But, apparently, too, Jedis can't love, apparently. I brought up that a little bit in the Phantom Menace. Yeah, Phantom Menace, that's what it was. I brought that up a bit, but I didn't talk about it that much. But I'm serious, though. It's kind of stupid. I mean, I get. The story is they don't want Jedi's falling in love with people because it will cloud their mind and all that, and it'll cloud their mind and make them want to. It'll make them want to, it'll cloud their mind and make them, want to, it'll basically make them want to turn to the dark side or something. I don't know. I mean, I kind of get that, but I'm like, that doesn't really make sense. It's kind of one of those things, where it makes sense and it doesn't make sense, if you know what I mean. Like, it doesn't make sense because, then they can't reproduce and all that. Like, how do they make more Jedi? And it makes sense because, they don't want the Jedis to turn to the dark side. But it's kind of just weird how that works and all that. So, but speaking of loving and all that, basically, Obi-Wan and Anakin go their separate ways, and Anakin goes with Padme to protect her, while Obi-Wan goes to this the ocean planet, which I don't remember the name of it, but yeah, apparently Anakin is with Padme, and I gotta say, a lot of people really complain about this, which I'm shocked. A lot of people complain about the part where they're like flirting and all that, and they're like, well, not flirting, but they're actually laughing and like outside in the grass and stuff and all that. But I'm like, I can't really see why people are complaining about that. I really can't. I think a lot of people just complain because a lot of people don't like love stories. Well, I mean, I didn't mean to say it like that, sorry. I mean, some people don't like love stories, that's better. But I don't know, I feel like the way they do it here, it doesn't go on too long. It's actually perfect timing. I think it lasts about like 5 or 10 minutes of the film, and that's about it. It doesn't go on very long at all, and I think it's cute. I do. I like how Anakin's riding this, whatever this creature is, which I don't know the name of it, and he falls off, and it's just kind of cute, like, and all that. And yeah, Padme goes to help him and all that. I really like that. It's really cute. And yeah, there's a moment where Anakin is complaining about sand, and I was like, because that's what I like. I've seen every single person I've seen who hate this movie, not complain, but more hate this movie. Well, I don't know if it's every single person. It's more, well, it's more a lot of people. Every single person's kind of stretching this out a bit, but people can hate this scene all they want. But it's their opinion. But I gotta say, I don't think it's that bad. I gotta say, I have to disagree with the sand part where Anakin brings up the sand. He basically, explains it and details and where like sand gets in his. He doesn't like sand because, and all that, and I can't remember exactly how he said it, but he said it where it doesn't sound forced at all, like it doesn't sound forced in there, like some of the other writing in this movie, including the flirting feels forced at the beginning of the movie, but I do like that, I do like the scene, and yeah, Anakin, and Padme continue to fall in love, and meanwhile, Obi-Wan is with Jango Fett. Yeah, well, not Jango. At first, it's these long-necked aliens. It's these long-necked aliens, which I'm not sure what kind of species they are or what their names are. I forgot. But apparently, one of the Jedi, which I didn't know about, actually, I knew it because I read the comics, but I saw that they said that one of the Jedi that was their species died 10 years ago. They don't really go into detail how he died. He just died 10 years ago, I guess. He just died 10 years ago and all that. And the thing is, we never really get to know about his character too much. But there is a Robot Chicken sketches where we get to see him getting pizza and stuff, which is pretty funny. I think it's the same Jedi. It has to be, because he's the only one with a long neck and a tiny head, so he's gotta be the same Jedi. I mean, yeah, the same Jedi and all that they're talking about, but it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird, though, like how they mention him, but he doesn't really do anything to the film. He's just a background character, which I just find kind of funny, but yeah, basically though, is what they do is they show these aliens show Obi-Wan the clone army, and they mention that this is something that's actually really cool. I actually really like that they did. Apparently, these are clones of a bounty hunter known as Jango Fett. Yes, they are clones of Jango Fett. That's what they're clones of Jango Fett, which I think is kind of interesting because I don't know. I mean, I don't know why it should be that interesting, but somehow it is. It's just really cool that, like, the villain, the villain that Obi-Wan's been looking for, turns out those clones are clones of him. He's the original guy, and those are clones of him, which is pretty interesting. And apparently, his son is a clone. I think his son's a clone too. So Boba Fett is a clone too, which is pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting. I actually like that. I like that a lot. But I do like that detail there and all that. So yeah, there's a lot there, and then I guess Obi-Wan ends up discovering he might be the bounty hunter they're looking for. He contacts Mace Windu, and which, by the way, I didn't mention this either, but apparently Mace Windu and Yoda are in chairs a lot in the prequel trilogy. Like Yoda's just floating on this chair while he's just talking with Yoda in a hallway scene, which is kind of just weird. Like, why are they? What's with the chairs? Like, why are they floating in chairs and all that throughout the entire movie? I guess it's just a new way of traveling. I guess just with chairs. Maybe I should get a floating chair too. I can travel too. I don't know, it's just kind of weird, like the way they have that, but it's just weird. But yeah, Obi-Wan, and all that. It's with Yoda, and he's just floating with a chair. I can't remember if he was with Mace Windu or not. I think he was, but I can't remember. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out because I thought that was kind of strange. But yeah, they are in chairs a lot in this movie and all that, and then we got, the fact that, okay, hold on. Okay, alright, yeah, here we go, alright, so I guess I got it figured out now, alright. So, apparently, when Obi-Wan ends up, fighting Jango Fett, he ends up flying off. He flies off, though, and apparently Obi-Wan puts a tracker beam on to track him down. I guess he's flying from this asteroid stuff. Now, I heard complaints about Obi-Wan not really reacting to the asteroids, and I gotta kind of agree with that. He's kind of not really reacting to the asteroids that much. He's just flying through them. I mean, I feel like he just needs a little bit reaction to the asteroids, but he doesn't need to be scared because he's a well-trained Jedi. But I feel like he needs to have somewhat of a reaction to it. But it's just kind of strange. But then he arrives on the planet, and this is probably one of the most fucked up things the Jedi have ever done. But he ends up getting captured by Count Dooku. He gets captured by Count Dooku, and watch out! I think it's Geonosis bugs that actually capture him. Then he meets Count Dooku while he's floating in the air with those I'm not sure what they are. They're like they hold him in place or something, but basically though, Count Dooku tells particularly Obi-Wan that he wants Obi-Wan to help him, defeat the Sith and save the war. And he explains that Darth Sidious is a guy named Darth Sidious is working against the Jedi and all that, and he explains that the war is that it's already starting, the war's already starting, or something like that, and Obi-Wan is just like, doesn't believe him. Obi-Wan is just an idiot, I guess, and doesn't believe him, so, he ends up trying to kill him and, the other Jedi. So, I'm just like, that's kind of strange. We do get some moments where he mentioned that he was Qui-Gon's master from the first movie, which is pretty cool. I like that. I like that they brought back Qui-Gon. They mentioned him, which is pretty cool. But that's just... But it's just kind of, it's kind of strange that they just, it's strange that they, Obi-Wan would just immediately, disagree with Dooku, even if Dooku is freaking telling him, like, even if Dooku, even if someone, captured me and all that, and, someone captured me and kidnapped me and told me all that stuff, I would agree with them. I'd probably keep a close eye on them, but I would agree with them and try to put a stop to it. But Obi-Wan doesn't even do that. Obi-Wan just freaking disagrees with him. So Anakin and Padme go to save him. Anakin doesn't want to do it because he doesn't want to do it because because his, because he wants to follow orders, and Padme wants to do it. And Padme wants to, do it. So he ends up going with Padme to go save him, because his main order was he was supposed to to follow orders and stay there with Padme, but because basically what they were is they were not on the planet they were supposed to be. They were on the planet where Anakin's mom was at, and this is actually a sad death. But apparently the same people torture her and abuse her and kill her. Well, I don't know. Like these same people are fucked up. Like they are so fucked up. I mean, even later down the road, they'll do stuff to Luke too. So these freaking Sam people are fucked up. I'm not even sure what are they Sam people? Like, what are they supposed to be anyway? Are they actually aliens, or are they just people wearing costumes? I'm not really sure, but yeah, I hate those Sam people. I especially like it when Anakin just freaking kills them all. Like, he just fucking goes mad and literally kills them all. And he goes in extremely details about it with Padme too, which makes him sound more creepy. But at least at that point, you can understand where he's coming from, and he's mad at himself because he couldn't save, you know, his mom on time, and he knew she was in trouble, but he couldn't save her on time, and but yeah, he couldn't save her on time, and you know, he's mad at Obi-Wan because Obi-Wan won't let him do certain stuff, so he's got an anger problem with Obi-Wan. So it's really building up Anakin as a character in this movie, and I like that. It's showing him that he's got problems, and it's not really all his fault. Some stuff, you know, is stuff that just naturally happened, like his mom just died. That's the thing. No one likes people to die. No one does. I lost my friend Brianna. I'm sad she died, but you can't really do anything about it, unfortunately. Maybe down the road you probably could, you know, when they have better technology, but right now, with the technology we got right now, you can't really go saving lives. But Anakin, you know, wants power. He wants to, you know, gain the ability where he can actually heal. He can heal people from dying. He wants to heal people from dying. That's the thing. He really wants the power. So you can see he's definitely getting greedy and all that. And that scene's very important because that's how he starts turning to the dark side. And then you know, another thing is though, you know, Padme, well, I mean, not Padme, well, like, once Padme and Anakin actually do get to the place to save, well, the one place to save, you know, Obi-Wan, they end up getting captured by droids, which, by the way, the droids don't even appear in this film until, like, over an hour in. There's, like, an hour left in the movie, and they appear, which is really odd because oops, sorry about that. The first movie, they appear. The first movie, they're appearing all over the place, but then the second film, they just don't appear until way later, which is really odd. It's really odd, though. But yeah, the droids just appear. They appear, you know, later and all that, and they come out of nowhere and just appear later. I mean, they do build them up. They do have Obi-Wan see the you know, the droids, you know, factor, you know, like them making droids, and then before he sees Count Dooku. But it takes a while for the droids to actually do something in the movie, and by the time they do something, the movie is closer to being over. So that's being closer to being over. Now this is actually where the movie actually starts getting really good. This is where the movie actually picks up. It's not very slow anymore. It actually gets really good here. So they not only go to the, you know, they do get captured, but we get some cool scenes where C-3PO gets his head swapped out with a droid, and his head gets put on another droid, and it's pretty funny, and you know, he ends up, you know, going there, and it's pretty funny, and the thing is, though, yeah, they get captured, but then we get a cool battle scene with you know, all the Jedi, and you know, and Mace Windu, they all go fighting, and we get to see Barriss and what's her name? I can't remember her name. Barriss Offit. There's Barriss Offit, and Lumiara. Yeah, Lumiara. I forgot what her last name was, but yeah, basically though, those are two Jedi that don't really have any screen time really until the Clone Wars show, but the cartoon one and the CGI one, which is pretty cool. They do appear in a couple scenes, but they don't really do anything in the film either. They're just background characters, but it's cool that they do something in there when they fight, but they don't really, you know, talk or anything. So They don't talk or anything like that. But it's still cool. But yeah, and then we get, and then, Jango Fett gets killed by Mace Windu and all that, and, I guess they just they ditch C-3PO and R2-D2 there. They just ditch them, and they fly off. Like, what a bunch of assholes. They just freaking fly off. It's I don't know why they just ditched them there, but they did. Yeah, they just ditch them there, and then they go flying to Count Dooku and all that, and there's one scene where, like, Padme falls out of the ship, and, but she falls out of the ship, and, Anakin wants to save her, but Obi-Wan doesn't want to. He wants to finish the mission, so you can definitely tell something. You definitely can tell the Jedi are stubborn as hell, and Anakin definitely is, turning to the dark side. And the thing is, though, is the Jedi are stubborn, but that's kind of how they get Anakin to turn, because Anakin disagrees. I don't feel like they could have done it any other way, honestly, because if you just make the Jedi all likable and stuff, then Anakin has no reason to turn. But yeah, I do like that, and then they go to fight Count Dooku. Anakin loses his arm, and it's a cool fight scene. I do like it. Now, they do pause for a second. Anakin and Count Dooku pause for a second. They fight before he loses his arm, and then they fight again, and he loses his arm. But I said that kind of twice, but it's true. The reason why I think they pause for a second, I think it's either they're reading each other's thoughts when they fight, or they're doing it because they need to rest, because, when you fight with swords, you're going to run out of energy pretty easily. It's one of those two. But, they do the same thing in the next film's big fight with Anakin and Obi-Wan, which we'll get to later. So clearly, it was a pretty good fight too, and all that. But he unfortunately he loses his arm and all that, and Yoda comes in and saves the day, and Count Dooku escapes to live another day, and and then Anakin and Padme get married secretly, because they can't get married without the Jedi knowing about it. Because if the Jedi know about it, then they're going to be in trouble, because they're not supposed to marry. So that is the Attack of the Clones. I know I kind of went all over the place with this. I was kind of jumping from one scene to the next and jumping back to old scenes, but there's just so much in this movie to talk about. And also, something I didn't bring up the last time is I didn't bring up that the droids actually have different voices than they do later down the road. The droids act more like stormtroopers. They don't act as goofy as they do later. I didn't bring that up in the first movie, but it's true. They don't act like they do in a Clone Wars show, and the third movie is where they'll start acting more goofy. They'll start talking more. They'll start having more dialogue. Some people I heard were complaining about that because they like the droids, like they were before, but I mean, I think that giving them a goofy personality makes them fit better. It makes them stand out compared to the, stormtroopers. It makes them stand out. That's actually why I like the droids more than the stormtroopers. I do. That's actually why the prequels are that's their highlight, is they focus on the droids and not the stormtroopers. And I like that, because the droids are much they're much better, and all that, like, because they got personalities and all that, and I think they just look a lot cooler and unique compared to the stormtroopers. The stormtroopers have their, cool designs and stuff, but they don't look as cool as the droids. Especially the droids with the force fields around them. Those are cool. But yeah, I forgot to point that out. I figured I'd point that out, because I didn't point that out last time. And their voices are definitely different. But later they'll have a different voice. I think the next film they'll have the battle droids will have their different voices. But I don't think the destroyers. I think those are the force field ones. They never talk. So, but the other droids do. So, yeah. But anywho, it's definitely an Attack of the Clones. Now, what is my opinion on this film here? What is my opinion? Well, this film has got a lot of good stuff and some bad stuff in it. It does. And the thing is, though, the bad stuff is like it's like a lot of pasting problems. There's a lot of pasting, and it lasts about halfway of the film. And I'm going to probably go ahead and say this film is meh, and I'm going to be giving this film 60 points. Yes, 60 points. That is literally split down the middle. That's literally half of 120. The reason why I'm giving it 60 points, though, is because this film has got, it's got things I like about it, but there's a lot of pasting problems. The characters are kind of unlikable, and I mean, yeah, they're supposed to be kind of unlikable because, it's supposed to make Anakin want to turn, but Anakin himself is kind of whiny and kind of, he's kind of whiny and he, a little bit too whiny, and, he complains a lot, and he's kind of creepy with Padme and all that. He does get better as the film goes on, but it starts off pretty bad, and it takes about half of the film to get to that. But once I get to the halfway part of the film gets much better. Like, it gets a whole lot of times better. The action picks up. They still got story, but they got action and all that, and I like that. There was some action sequences at the beginning of the movie with the, battling Hunter and them chasing her throughout the sky. For some reason, Anakin went through a electric, fence or something. I'm not sure why, but I guess he did. I mean, he could not, maybe they didn't see it, but he saw it. He was, facing right at it and still went right through it, I guess, but yeah, the other thing is, though, is for the most part, though, this film has got a lot of pasting, and the thing is, too, the pasting's probably the biggest part, but I do have, those other little gripes and stuff, with Anakin and all that, but this film's, even the pasting itself, they still manage to tell a nice story and all that. I feel like I think this film, in my opinion, is kind of underrated. I don't think it's the best film out there. I think it's got its problems, but I do think they at least are telling a nice story, and they're showing Anakin, when his mom died, and so we see him go mad with power and want to kill those stupid sand people, the stupid sand people, the sand people kind of do look cool, but, they still killed, Anakin's poor mom. They killed her. But, but yeah, you got that, and then you got, moments where, we learn more about the characters and stuff, with Count Dooku and all that. I just think it's pretty cool. I just think, the biggest problem with this film, is mainly the pacing and the characters not being very likable. They're not, horrible, unlikable, but it's mainly Anakin that I think has problems with. Mace Windu, he's an asshole, but there's already other Jedis in the council, but they're supposed to be, because that's supposed to, give a reason why Anakin will be mad at the council. It's not just because, Anakin, well, because if he made them all likable, then, they wouldn't have a reason for Anakin to turn to the dark side. So, yeah, but Anakin's just, I think, a little too unlikable at times with it, flirting with Padme and stuff. But otherwise, I think for the most part, this film is pretty good. I don't think it's great. I think it deserves a meh, but I wouldn't mind watching this film again. I think it's definitely worth watching again. Also, Jar Jar's in this movie, and Jar Jar is actually not annoying at all in this movie. Of course, he only has a couple scenes now in this movie, but he has a couple scenes in this movie, but even then, when he talks, it doesn't sound really that bad. It sounds pretty good. I don't think Jar Jar sounds as annoying in this movie as he does in the last film. A lot of people think he's annoying because he's a clumsy, dum-dum, but Jar Jar, I think, his main problem in the first movie is whenever he talked, he just sounded freaking annoying. But in this movie, when he talks, you can actually understand what he's saying, and it sounds more clear, instead of just sounding all goofy, like he's just talking about random gibberish stuff, But I really don't know what to say here about this. This film's still pretty good. I just don't think it's that great. I think there's problems with it, but like I said, I probably would watch it again. I would probably definitely watch it again, and another thing I want to point out real quick too, I don't think Palpatine ever appears in this. Well, he appears once in this movie, but I think that's about it. The first movie and the third movie, he appears a lot more, like before he actually gets himself actually revealed by, everyone, like including Mace Windu and all that. But in this movie, he only appears like with the hood on, like in one scene. That's it. And we do get a cool Darth Vader theme too for them showing the Clone Wars off, which I like. I like that. It's building up the Darth Vader coming soon. But I think this film's just all right. I do have to disagree with some things that people complain about this film, but a lot of them I do agree with. But I think the action sequences are still really good in this movie, and if you guys hate this film, that's fine. I don't mind you guys hate this film. You guys can hate if you guys want. Me, I just think it's okay. I don't think it's great. I think it's okay. Definitely not as good as the last movie, but still good. Actually, I don't know. It might be better than the last movie. I don't know. And score-wise, for the scoring, I basically am giving it, a meh, because, that's kind of the film is, and the score, it more judges on, how many flaws the film has. But I know I think that the film's I think it's a little bit better than Phantom Menace. I think it's a little bit better, but it's definitely got more problems than Phantom Menace. That's why it's getting 60 points and not more. But yeah, anywho, I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys go for real this time. Check out my other playlist if you guys want. In my other playlist, I have tons of videos. I have reviews, gaming, and all sorts of stuff. I do other reviews besides, Star Wars. So please check out that, and see you guys later. Bye-bye.